No Rest for the Wicked is close to 1.0, so this is not a basic explainer. If you bounced off early access, here is what actually changed, and whether it is worth reinstalling before October. At launch, the hook was already there. Heavy combat, loot, crafting, town rebuilding, dangerous zones, and that expensive painterly world. But once the initial wow factor faded, it felt thin. Performance was rough, systems were still settling, and the available content ran out before the fantasy really had room to breathe. The first meaningful answer was the Crucible update. It rebuilt the Sacra Crucible into a proper, repeatable endgame dungeon, added more randomized chambers, a new art theme, the Gloam enemy faction, exalted gear, a new vendor, and the Echoes system. That matters because it gave players something to grind, test builds against, and return to after the campaign content ran thin. Then, the Breach made the world feel bigger. This was not just a balance patch. It added new regions, more enemies, more gear, more quests, more late-game pressure, and enough system changes that the game felt closer to a relaunch than a normal update. If the launch version felt like a beautiful foundation, the Breach was the update that finally put more walls, rooms, and monsters inside it. But the Breach also needed repair. That is where the Breach Refined matters. It was the feedback pass. Combat feel, ledge protection, tutorials, ingredients, chest signifiers, tuning, and practical quality of life. Not sexy trailer stuff, but exactly the kind of update that decides whether a hard ARPG feels demanding or just annoying. For returning players, this is the difference between there is more content and the game is less tiring to actually play. Then, the Together update changed the question again. Co-op in this game could have been a lazy checkbox, but Moon pitched it as a real part of the realm. You can bring friends into your world, fight, explore, build, gather, and push through content together without turning the game into a separate paid mode. That matters because No Rest always had systems that made sense socially. Town rebuilding, resource loops, crafting, and hard fights where one bad dodge can make everyone laugh at you for the next 10 minutes. Together also came with the kind of cleanup early access needs. Performance work, balance, loot tuning, realm flow, duels, text chat, callouts, realm diary, and comfort system changes are not all equally exciting, but they all point in the same direction, making this feel like a game you can recommend instead of a gorgeous experiment you keep making excuses for. The 1.0 announcement is the final piece. The game is not quietly disappearing into early access fog. It has an October 2026 target, a PlayStation 5 launch, and a clear push toward the version Moon wants in front of a bigger audience. That changes the decision. You are not wondering whether the project is alive anymore. You are deciding whether to revisit now or save your first clean run. There is also one practical reason not to wait forever. Moon says early access buyers before July 10th, 2026 get upgraded to the Founders Pack at no extra cost, and the Steam page says the price goes up for 1.0. So the buying advice is a little different from the playing advice. If you already know you want this, buying now makes sense. Just do not burn yourself out pretending this is the final run. My take: if you already own it and bounced off, reinstall it now and feel the difference. If you do not own it but know you want it, buy it before the Founders Pack and price window closes, poke around for a night, then save the serious playthrough for 1.0. If you are still unsure, wait. No Rest for the Wicked is much closer to the game early access was promising, but October is close enough that your clean run is probably worth protecting.